Yeah.
Oh my
Are
goodness.
we ready to rock
Okay.
and roll? Okay.
Yes, we are.
All right. Hi there. I'm Donna,
Hi, I'm Nadine.
and this is
Teach People How to Treat You.
Okay. Now, today.
Today it's exciting. We're getting feedback now from our viewers
Yes,
and
we are.
suggestions on certain topics to address to help those of you out there who are now looking on getting people to teach you how to treat you.
Yeah. Like people are actually asking us to.
How would you handle this?
Exactly. Which is so cool.
It really is. We're really excited about that.
Yeah.
So the question that we were asked, that we're going to start with,
Yes.
is how do you deal with someone who believes or thinks, believes that you are in a relationship and there's no indication of that in your head
At all. Yeah.
at all?
That's a really great question. So thank you for asking that question.
Thank you. And it's not as easy, like when it was first asked of us, we went, oh, wow. But now it's not that easy because there's so many dynamics on the other side. You're talking about somebody's feelings, about somebody's, interpretation of how you've communicated from the outset, maybe. Their interpretation, I'm not saying that what you did was intentional to mislead them, but whatever way you communicated.
Yes, they've perceived it to be that you're in a committed
relationship.
Yeah.
And part of this comes from the online dating scene that a lot of people out there are involved in. And I call it a bit of a numbers game because you need to go through. Yeah,
like you're talking about dating different people and you just people. Yeah. Well, sometimes you do though. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. If
you meet the right person
right off the hop. Then.
What I was trying to say is that you have to meet different people until there's that chemistry.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not.
Well, sometimes they feel
reciprocated.
Yeah. And sometimes they feel the chemistry, and you don't. Or you can feel it and they don't.
Right.
And so I guess the question is, how do we communicate that we are into the person, right? Like we are actually into them, and how do we make sure that when we're just communicating that we like them as a friend or we enjoy their company, that we're not giving them too much to go on, and then they're hanging on to everything we're saying, and they then think that we want to be their girlfriend or even more. And we have to be really careful with that, because if you're being yourself and someone is interpreting that as a different message, and I'll tell you, I'm guilty of that. I'm a very flirtatious person. I am. When I talk to people, I flirt, and I don't mean flirt in an inappropriate, even sexual kind of manner, but it's very friendly, and right, and you're somewhat the same, and people in my lifetime have misinterpreted my intention, because I've been very friendly and I've been, maybe wanting to know more about them than I would normally, you know what I mean? If you're not wanting to get into a serious committed relationship, and they've interpreted it that, oh, she must really care about me. She must be really attracted to me. But, I've left the building after our conversation, and I'm not thinking about that. I'm moving on to the next. And then this guy's going, oh, wow, she spent a lot of time and asking me questions. Have you? Yeah. Well, even go back even further than that, one incident I always think about was one time I was sunbathing at my apartment complex in Toronto, and someone had this great CD. It was all this cool rock and roll music, and I loved it. And I went, wow, what a compilation. This is before iTunes and all the rest of it. Anyway, I went over to this guy. He was probably around my age, so I was in my 20s, and I just asked him about the music. I honestly just wanted to know what CD he was playing. Well, right away he said, hey, like, why don't you bring your towel over here and join me? Like, he thought that I was hitting on him, right? And that I said, oh my gosh, no, I just, and I didn't want to be rude. Right. But I think I had a boyfriend at the time. There was a reason why, but I wasn't going over there for that reason. I just seriously wanted to know the music. But I thought it was interesting how
he right away interpreted that I wanted more than just an answer to my question.
Because your body language is very open and forthright and friendly, and you love talking to people.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we present that to an individual who's not like that, they can misinterpret it. Yeah. So the question is, how do you deal with that when somebody thinks that you're in a relationship and you don't feel the same way? So we could talk about it. You can be honest with them from the beginning, but you have to look for the signs.
Yeah. Because that could be embarrassing too, though, if you're honest right from the beginning and they go, well, I didn't want that.
So what are you talking about? Exactly. I'm not even attracted to you. Yeah. So looking for the signs. So I think what has come to our attention in this particular topic was looking for the signs of, spending time with an individual and enjoying the company. And all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you want to do on Sunday? So that's an assumption that you're going to be spending more time together. And then, well, how about if I come over and I help you lay out all that topsoil in your garden?
Oh, that's trouble.
Right? Or, well, I thought we were going out on Friday. Why are you going out with your girlfriends?
Yeah.
So when signs like that start to surface, and we're all instinctive to an extent.
Yeah.
And you've got that coming at you and you think, okay, wait a minute. I think we're not on the same page here. Yeah. Then the question becomes, well, there's a couple questions. First of all, am I really understanding what is coming at me to be how this individual is feeling? And secondly is, oh boy, how do I address this with him or her without
delicately?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Delicately. Don't want to hurt somebody. And then the other thing is, when do I do that? When's the right time to do that? Because sooner is better than later. Because otherwise what ends up happening, I don't know about everybody. I can only speak to myself. I have been guilty of that, where I'm like, oh my goodness, he's such a nice person. I don't want to hurt his feelings. He thinks we're dating, but
and you do enjoy their company too. The thing is, you don't really want to cut it off cold turkey, right? I sometimes have been guilty of still wanting to spend time with that person. Kind of on my terms, which maybe isn't fair. If they're looking for a committed relationship and I've just been enjoying dating or spending some time with them, but not being committed, I guess that, So what do you do? And that's a really good question, Nadine, because how do you address it? And because you don't want to say, okay, I think it's time we talk. Like that's,
no.
So what do you do?
Yeah, I have something to tell you and you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
So at this stage in my life, and I say that to appeal to the younger people, always be kind, particularly when you're delivering a message that is not going to be pleasant. To the recipient. Be kind and be classy. That's a big thing. You can let somebody down nicely and easily without being condescending, without being hurtful, without being vindictive, and I'm going to say without being impatient
or rude.
Rude.
Yeah.
I would have a one-to-one. And part of that is you have to know yourself. And this comes back to trusting your confidence in yourself and your instinct when you're ready to do that. So start preparing yourself sooner than later mentally that you need to break the news to this individual, and then take them aside or go and see them, whatever works for you.
Yeah. And
have a sit down, have an eye-to-eye, honest conversation, and speak in your own words and say, I'm using my words. I don't think we're on the same page.
Perfect.
I really like you. I enjoy your time. I'm not even remotely thinking of a committed relationship. And you can add at this time if you think that might be hope, in the future. Or this is not really what I want to commit to.
Yeah. I like that. And I would also be careful of letting it get to a point where you maybe have to have that conversation. If you, I think we know pretty much I don't want to say right at the beginning. Sometimes it takes time for someone to grow on us. True enough. Like it's not always instant when you meet someone.
Right.
And and sometimes that's a really good way to approach a relationship as opposed to, oh, is it instant? Is it love at first sight or something like that? But if you feel that you're not feeling it after a bit and it's, yet you're enjoying this person, I think it's also good to not always be available. I'm not saying to play a game, but just, don't always be ready to go out with them if you know that deep down you're not going to take it to the next step. And so that's when you need to, even if you have nothing to do on a Friday night, you decline the offer, and just kind of just keep it, almost keep it at arm's length or...
put some distance between you.
Yeah, and some time. And still continue your life and also make it clear that your life is fulfilled at this point. You're busy with also your own things, maybe seeing your friends or your family, your kids. Yeah.
Whatever way you're comfortable delivering the message is the way that you need to do it.
Yeah.
What we're saying is with this particular situation, it is a tender one. However, the sooner you deliver it, the better. I was, what we were talking, I was thinking of the movie Sea of Love. Do you remember that with Al Pacino and Ellen Barkin? Oh,
I worked as an extra on that movie. That was the very first one. Yeah. First time I ever did background.
And the younger generation may not have seen this.
Yeah.
She walks into a restaurant. They're like, back then, you did the ads in the newspaper, the personal ads.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's sitting down with Al Pacino. And she sits down and literally like 5 minutes into the date, she says, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. And then he's going, why? You just sat down, we just ordered a glass of wine. What's going on? And she said, I believe in instant animal attraction. I believe in this and I'm not feeling it. And she gets up and she walks out and I'm thinking, yeah. Oh my God. Wow, I would love to be Ellen Barkin on, some of the dates that I went on. But then you see his face and he's like, what just happened? And maybe that's a good way of doing it. Maybe that's your style. Maybe your other style is, let's have a coffee and I want to talk to you. I think there's a misunderstanding. You're a more gentle type of person. Whatever way works for you. Yeah. The message today is when somebody thinks you're in a committed relationship and you are not on that page, tell them that you're not on that page.
Exactly. That's it. Just let them know. However works for you. Let them know.
Because you're not doing them a favor. Sorry. You're not doing them a favor by leading them on.
Yeah. No, I was just saying just what we already said. Just do it the way you would do it. Be yourself. Be yourself and still be kind. But you can be direct. Direct is good. Anyway. There you go.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Thank you for your feedback. We're glad that we're getting some requests now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.
Bye.